Have you ever seen somebody else's work and thought, man, I wish I could do that? Well, I feel like that all the time, especially when I look at pictures like these, and this, and this. These are from my good friend Keegan Robin. He's a photographer. He started taking these incredible self-portraits at the beginning of the pandemic and he blew up on TikTok. If you haven't seen him yet, check out the full range of his photographs and the behind the scenes for them and put in the links down below. They are absolutely incredible. Every time I look at his photos, I think, man, what if I could do that? What if I could jump across a pool? And then this happened. Well, not really, but we'll talk about that in a second. Part of my mission for this channel is to learn new skills and get creatively inspired, and hopefully by documenting that, you will feel inspired as well. So I reached out to Keegan and I told him, hey, can you teach me how to take a self-portrait like this?
And? What'd he say? He said yes.
So we got access to a rooftop that had no one on it. There was this beautiful view of the city, empty lawn chairs, empty pool, and I had to come up with a creative idea for my self-portrait. Aye. So Keegan here is gonna teach me how to take a creative self-portrait.
The first thing is, we're gonna have to brainstorm for an idea.
Yeah.
We have a pool here.
Okay.
We have a nice city in the background. We take our first picture, which is essentially called a plate, right? So a plate is like, in film, you know what a plate is, right? Sure. It's like the background of the base photo, the base footage, whatever.
Yeah, you have the thing without the person and then you put the layer in front with the person plus whatever kind of props or gadget you use to get the effect, and then you get rid of all the other stuff.
Exactly, like usually these creative photos involve a minimum of maybe 2 layers.
I want it to look as if I'm about to fall into this really dank pool without me actually falling into the pool. The face expression is really what sells it. We talked about this a little bit right before we started, but it's like something I really like about your photos is that you always get the acting on point. So yeah, your effects are cool, but ultimately the main point of focus is first your face and then what's going on around it. Right. And that's something I really like. It seems unattainable to me. You know, that's why I wanted to do this session, because I'm like, I have no idea how to do it. Exactly, but then you tell me anybody can do it.
You just try it once, you learn what works, you learn what doesn't, and you do it again.
Let's do it. What motivated you to get into this?
Pandemic, I was home, I was alone.
Yeah.
I had nothing else to do, but I had a camera. Actually, TikTok motivated me.
TikTok motivated you?
Yeah, strangely, because it started as nothing like Photoshoppy, nothing too creative, just like I had my camera and I had this very wide angle lens.
Yeah.
And I was like finding the weirdest place to put this lens, you know? Like I put it in a bookshelf behind books and like you can get like this close to the lens, right?
Right.
And it sees everything.
Right.
So it's super cool. You can like stick.
Because this is what, a 14?
14 millimeter, yeah. I put it in my oven. My second picture, I think I put it in my oven. I turned the oven on too, like very quickly. And
and then you got the glow and stuff. Yeah, all that.
I was like looking in the oven window, like essentially giving people a different viewpoint, a different perspective
on life.
On life.
Yeah.
On life.
It's really cool. What camera do you use?
EOS R.
Okay, so that's a Canon.
EOS R. It's a mirrorless camera.
Yeah.
The lens itself is a 14 millimeter Samyang manual focus lens.
Okay.
So this one, you have to prepare a little bit ahead of time with focus. You got to make sure you get that right. Right now, what's going through my mind is, do we want to shoot a picture lengthwise of the pool so we see the entire pool as a rectangle? Do we want to shoot from the corner like this and see 2 lines going out this way?
Oh, I see. It took me a while to get used to the lens. Finding the right angle was definitely difficult, and eventually we turned around to the other side of the pool and decided to face the city. We knew that from that angle the shadows were potentially going to be a problem, but we decided that with the city in the background, it might just be worth it. We're pushing him too hard.
Pushing it too hard. That's great. Looks nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to take up too much space in the image.
Right.
Yeah, as long as we can still get a rough read on my face expression. Like, I know it puts more pressure on my pose. I think I might want to go with that challenge. The only real knowledge of photography I had coming into this was from film, so I knew the basics of shutter speed, ISO, aperture. It was interesting to find out that Keegan actually sets his camera to only manually manipulate the aperture, and then all the other settings adjust automatically, which is something that was really nice. Then we made sure that we kept everything the exact same except for the height, because I knew I was gonna have to adjust the height relative to the pool. Because you don't want to resize stuff afterwards, is what you're saying. You don't want to like shrink
and looks less realistic. Because it's not actually happening, you're not actually falling into the pool. You have to think about what will sell that motion, right? What kind of motion will sell the action of you actually nearing the water, falling into the water? And that's why we're doing the motion live. We're not just like standing here and pretending. Actually jumping will sell the action a little bit better. Take that.
Okay.
So that is a wireless trigger.
Okay.
Plugged into the camera here.
Yeah.
This is a wireless receiver.
Okay.
And when you jump, you're just gonna essentially hold down this button.
And it's gonna take a lot of pictures.
Go fast. All you wanna do also is maybe hide this one, hide this hand.
Sure.
So you hide it from the camera.
Yeah. See, now the pressure's on for acting.
Great, bro.
My theater background's coming out again.
Don't think about what to do with your hands.
I'm stressed. And I have to do it with like this thing hidden and also press it at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. A lot of air. Let's take a look at a couple.
These are all gonna be pretty good.
That's quite cool.
It's hard to know if it's gonna cut.
Yeah.
But generally you wanna try and, what we try to do is keep the same distance from the lens.
Yeah.
Keep the same focus on the lens. You don't wanna change the focus between shots.
Yeah.
Aperture, kind of everything you wanna try and keep
consistent.
Yeah. So now we take the images, we go into Photoshop and do some magic.
Awesome. I had picked the selects from Lightroom after importing the footage. There honestly weren't that many options available because most of them you could see either my lav or the trigger. But ultimately, I ended up with 2 images that worked pretty well, so I isolated both of them. Once in Photoshop, I isolated myself from the action shot using the polygonal lasso tool. This might not have been the fastest way to do this, but I'm not that experienced with Photoshop, so some of the other methods of isolating layers seemed a bit too daunting for me. So I kind of like the tedious and manual element of this because it really allowed me to go step by step and figuring out how to isolate my layers. I made sure the shadows were isolated and properly placed in the pool, and I mirrored myself in the water of the pool by flipping the image upside down just for a small little detail. It's not something you really notice, but I feel like it does make a difference. And here we go. I think this turned out pretty well. I definitely see what Keegan meant by saying that we added layers of complexity by having myself in an entirely different location and then merging that over. He'll sometimes have a chair or a bench in the action image that he can then raise to reveal the plate behind it. But this involved a full-on lateral motion from the place where I shot my action shot to the place where I ultimately wanted to end up over the pool. And that's where I made a small mistake by jumping perpendicular to the camera by the time we had moved it over for the action shot. Whereas in fact, in the final image, I wanted it to look like I was jumping over the pool, facing it at a 90-degree angle, jumping right across it. And since that's how we shot the plate, there is a small discrepancy between the direction of my movement in the action shot versus the direction of the movement that we had anticipated when we shot the plate, which really would have been more away from the camera. And I think that definitely shows. It makes it look a little bit more Walter Mitty-esque as opposed to the like super dynamic action shot that I pictured it was gonna be. But again, that's how we learn, right? Let me know what you think of the images in the comments. Check out Keegan's channels on TikTok, Instagram, and of course right here on YouTube. All the links are down below. As always, just lightly tap that like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell if you wish. And until next time, cheers.